That's going to be anyone who has autoimmune disease, have cancer or cancer treatments, any other chronic diseases or illnesses. You're going to have more of a chance to be sick, and so we're doing this. So some of the things that
you gotta scoot this way.
Which way? So the year this no this way.
No.
Oh, see,
it's this one.
Oh,
okay, hold on.
I'm glad we like each other.
Yeah, right. Hi, Mom.
And so we're talking about boosting your immune system, and we're going to specifically be talking about some things because there's a lot of fear going on. Of course, anxiety going on with the current situation in our country and across the world. And we want to make sure that we're not dismissing or addressing that, but we want to make sure that we are doing that. So some of the recommendations may come a lot from the Institute of Functional Medicine. Functional medicine is a way of thinking and practicing medicine that talks about the direct, about finding the cause of what's going on. And so then we also want to make sure that we are looking at, we're not ignoring CDC. We're not going to talk about the World Health Organization, but we'll talk about CDC. So some of the things that we'll say, depending on your opinion, some of the recommendations that the IFM talks about is in this time, hand washing, which is important all the time, right?
All the time.
So
I think I got it.
Yeah, I think, look.
Almost. This one, not all the way.
It's okay.
I almost got it all the way.
We need like one camera that will do all of it. Or one device.
Mess. Okay.
And why we have 50 devices, I don't know.
Because we're trying to do all of the different things. Okay, so I think we're as good as this is gonna get. You might come this way just for this one, but we're in all of the other ones, so like we literally would have to talk like this.
If we face each other, how do we look?
For us to be like, oh, so da da da, and no one talks like that really. Okay,
not really. And we're not practicing social distancing, obviously, but you can keep your circle small. We're pretty much family.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I mean, I believe when they do talk about that, it's about people who don't live in the same household, and we have been sharing the same household space
for a while
since prior to COVID. I mean, even with us coming together and doing the talks every Friday and everything, and then so.
Yes. Agreed.
You also have to be able to have some hi Donnie, have some common sense with the whole thing. Girl, go Cadence.
So some of the things we'll talk about too. So as we want to keep our immune systems healthy, even though we are talking about this, to hopefully empower some people to be able to do some things on our own that can help ourselves and help the greater good and help everybody else to stay healthy. This is very important during the pandemic, but it's important all of the time.
Right.
So we'll talk about basic things that we already know. There's things that the CDC has put out. You probably heard some other health practitioners. So one of them is going to be washing your hands. And you don't just stick your hands in the water. And I will tell you, and I know some of you guys will know this, I go to a public restroom, and I haven't been that much out in public lately, but going to a public restroom and people don't wash their hands.
Yeah. And it's weird to see that.
It's weird and it's gross.
I think as a nurse, we wash our hands, or as nurses, we wash our hands so much, and then we notice when other people aren't washing their hands. And so that needs to be, hand hygiene is important regardless of corona or not. You have to wash your hands. You need to make sure that you're not just putting the soap on and rinsing them off, or that you're not, just rinsing your hands and not using soap. It is soap and warm water. There's been several clever things that have been out on social media as far as like different songs that you can sing to make sure that, not the whole song, but usually the chorus a couple of times, that'll get you through, your hand washing. So you definitely want to wash your hands. And then other things too that I deal with a lot is keeping down your stress. So your stress levels will also affect, because a lot of when you're talking about fear, things that you are afraid of and that you meditate and think about all the time, you pull those things towards yourself. So you want to make sure that that you don't get in fear about these things, and that you're continuing to think about things that are good, and that are true, and that are healthy, to keep your mind at peace. Peace is really, in my opinion, your biggest weapon, is to stay at peace. So then that way you can rest, because rest is the other thing that's super important, right? So
And I
to
don't
keep
know-
your immune system up, you have to rest and sleep and give your body the ability to and the time to rebuild.
Agreed. And that's what I see a lot of lately is people not resting. And I know for myself, if I don't give myself enough time to recover and rest and rejuvenate, I start feeling sick, even though I'm not really sick.
Right.
And if I continue that way, I will eventually get sick. The other thing that I've heard a lot of, and these are even other docs who are relatively healthy, it's like, why are some people being tested positive, have COVID, and they're also getting sick? And sometimes it makes sense and sometimes it doesn't to us, right? Like why somebody would get sick and why somebody would not have the symptoms and get sick. But one of the things that's been pinpointed is someone who was burning the candle at both ends and just running themselves ragged and tired are more susceptible to getting the virus.
Right. And that's any virus.
And that's any virus.
Right.
So those
So
are
we're
things.
not necessarily specifically talking about, COVID, hi, sweetheart, or, COVID-19, coronavirus. We are talking about boosting your immune system so that you can stay healthy, which needs to be an all the time deal. Something that you are working on. Cadence Collins, say hi to your daddy and your grandma because they're on there, and then goodbye.
Hi, Grandma. Hi, Dad.
And so we want to make sure that we are, giving our bodies the time to rest. And then also, we've had conversations in the past too, talking about supplement use and different things like
and
that.
we're going to talk about that too.
Right. And so we put together some notes on some different things that different doctors, functional medicine doctors and holistic doctors, and I think there's some MDs, all kinds of information of things that we know of. It's kind of a conglomeration.
And it's going to be peer reviewed. This is not just pulling something out of a hat and saying, hey, just, drink, 3 drops of this and 2 drops of that and you'll be fine. This has research backed up for a lot of boosting the immune system. And I want you to talk about, well, we won't talk about it, but go back and listen to or, skim through our gut health. Where we're talking about keeping your gut healthy. That's going to be a big part of our immune system. But like Montika said, we're going to talk about hand washing. And so another thing to use a little more is now, I have been doing it, is carrying hand sanitizer, but maybe using it more diligently before you go in, after you go in to a store,
or after you're pumping gas.
After you're pumping gas, anything you're touching, it's not a bad idea to use hand sanitizer. And I use it like hand soap, where I rub it all over my hands. You don't just spray it. Some people do this. No, I actually rub it everywhere and then let it dry.
Right. And then the other thing that I feel like that I've noticed recently is a lot of people wearing gloves, right? And so to me, gloves creates this false sense of security, because you put gloves on but you're still touching everything, but you don't wash gloves, right? And so you wear gloves, you pump your gas, or you go to the grocery store and you grab the handle and you're touching your groceries and you're putting them in the basket, and then you're going to your car and you're opening you're getting your keys out, you're opening your car door handle, and then you're taking your gloves off. And there's proper ways that you remove gloves to keep from contaminating your hands and all kinds of things. I've not seen proper glove use in anyone.
So I have a story too about that.
Okay.
My parents went to a restaurant and the lady there had gloves on. She come and took the order with the gloves on, and then she brought them their appetizer. She went back, they saw her, she kept the same gloves on and started cleaning, and then brought their food out with the same gloves.
Right.
And my mom confronted her about it. She's like, oh, no, okay, I'll go change them now. But it gives a false sense of clean. You maybe at that time you're keeping your hands clean, but that's the only thing you're keeping clean. If you're touching those, if you're touching your face, touching other things,
because
and
you're spreading that to your clients, right? So even like in food service, if you are preparing food with those gloves, you're not going to also go handle money with those gloves on that you're preparing food with. You're going to remove those gloves, and then you're going to prepare, you'll deal with the money with something else. It's the same type of concept, but if you are wearing gloves all the time, you're constantly going to have to change them. And the best way to not spread germs with your hands is to wash them. Wash your hands. Use hand sanitizer. If you're in a position to where you cannot wash.
And even though the natural hand sanitizer is great, there's some great things. What's been studied is 60% alcohol. So make sure there's alcohol, and I know it dries out your hands. And I'm not going to say the other ones don't work, but I can't endorse something we don't have a study or research on. We could probably go to some of the essential oils, and they might have that on there, but from what the perspective we're coming from right now is going to be a little bit more combination medical, functional.
Yes. So, and of course, you just need to read your ingredients and make sure that your hand sanitizer has at least 60% alcohol in it. And then the other ingredients, whatever you choose, that's what can be in there. So washing your hands, gloves are not what we want to do with
really
that.
Not. And then we'll talk about covering our mouth and nose when we sneeze and cough. We should be doing this anyway, right? But how many people have you cough? They're sneezing and coughing in their hands. They're picking their nose.
Oh,
touching their face.
I was at the store and I saw someone literally reach under their mask. I don't know exactly what they were doing. It looked like they were picking their nose, but then bring their hand out and then grab a hold of the handle of the thing.
So that kind of defeats the purpose of
wearing a mask, right? So, but still, we don't want to be touching our faces. We want to use, when you're talking about things that are transferred by droplets, if you're putting your hands in your mouth or in your nose, and then you're touching other things without cleaning them, then you're still spreading germs.
And I think another thing that you've had to do in the clinic that we should be doing anyway, but I think we've paying more attention to it, is keeping surfaces clean that are touched all the time. Doorknobs. So I used to teach biology, and we would do like the swabs on an agar plate where we would swab things and grow bacteria, and it's pretty nasty. Now, this is the thing though, even though we should be doing that, if your immune system is intact and you're doing the things that you can do, if you go to a public place, you might not be able to control how well they clean doorknobs and all of those things. So there's things that we can ourselves do, boost up our immune system. We cannot live in a sterile environment. We should not live in a sterile environment. That doesn't help our immune system actually. Right. So, but keeping those surfaces clean generally is not a bad idea as well. And so, any other things to add there? I think we talked about lifestyle, like stress reduction, sleep, exercising, all those basic things that we're talking about are going to keep yourself healthy. And then we'll talk about some other supplements and things that we can do. And we won't talk about all of them, but we'll talk about some that maybe you guys are familiar with that you can do, and then what some of the truths about those. So, one of the things that is big is vitamin C. We hear about vitamin C all the time, and people will say, how much am I supposed to take? And that's kind of not a loaded question, but it's an it depends question. But usually 1,000 milligrams is a basic thing, but it depends on how well your gut is. It depends on other factors. I like to couple vitamin C with like selenium and zinc and some other minerals, because gives it a synergistic effect of being able to work on the immune system. Some of the things that I am familiar with vitamin C is and I even talked to some people today, talked to your mom about today, is just about how is the vitamin C absorbed. And so I love liposomal vitamin C, and so and then keeping that in your system on a regular basis does actually, there's multiple studies about vitamin C.
So where can you get liposomal vitamin C from?
I don't know if the stores sell it, so probably from me.
Okay.
And there's a couple of companies, or if you have a practitioner that that you go to that practices holistic functional medicine, they usually will have something like that.
Okay.
If you
so
don't
if
have,
they don't have access to liposomal vitamin C, then what would your thing
you
be?
can go and get a decent supplement that has vitamin C. I like a synergistic blend. So looking on there, what else does it have in there? There's a couple of blends that you can get from a couple of companies that I use that will have like even mushrooms. It will have, like I said, some of the other nutrients like zinc and selenium, some of the minerals. It will also have olive leaf extract is a great one. There's so much, but usually you can get a really good one that would be a good. I'm very picky, so I don't know what's out there at a store to get in a blend, but coming to me or coming to you, we can tell you what.
Right. I guess I was just throwing it out there because we have such a wide audience of people that, I mean, and of course
They can't always come see us.
They can't come see us, but we also, do telehealth and different things like that. But sometimes, when you're just, a lot of folks, it's a lot going on, and we get that. So, to have a choice, you want to just make sure that the supplements that you're buying, like we've talked about before, are high quality supplements. Usually you get what you pay for, right? So you don't want to get, the cheapest, supplement, because that's not going to be, readily absorbed by your body. So you want to, get a good supplement. It's good if you can get one that's, food based or, whole food based. Some of them are like fermented and different things like that you can get as well. I like to take multiple doses of vitamin C myself. So like instead of doing like 1,000, because a lot of times if you take 500 and then you wait a couple of hours and you take 500 more, then it's easier for your body to use that up, and you're not
Correct.
turning your toilet
water
into
water soluble.
Right.
Now the
into
liposomal
sunshine,
will get absorbed a little bit better
Right.
through liposomes. That's why that. And so you can, and this is where I would talk to a practitioner. I talk to my patients about bowel tolerance, vitamin C to bowel tolerance. There was a time, and this is not to give advice to do this, but there was a time I was taking over 6,000 a day, and then I have administered vitamin C IV through an intravenous line, 50,000, 75,000 even.
Right, and
depending
there's
on the
different
issue.
places that you can go to get IV infusions of
10,000
vitamin C. If you are, if you feel something coming on and you're like, or a little off, and you can look up, those types of places in your area where they offer, vitamin
Those
C
services.
infusions, and different, basically IV nutrients, type of treatment.
But that's not always our first line. It just depends.
No,
Yes,
no.
we've got, that's something that's kind of on another line. But we want to make sure we can take that in, and like Montika said, through our food is the best way. But then that's a whole nother story about how much we're getting through our food. But a good immune support vitamin C supplements of vitamin C, and a lot of times they'll have zinc and selenium in there, what are really good for immunity. And so vitamin D is another one. That we've talked about vitamin D before.
A lot. We talk about vitamin D a lot,
And
because many of us are deficient, and
Correct.
I feel like even with people sheltering in place a lot,
Not going
depending
outside.
upon where you live, you may not be getting as much sunshine as you would even if you were just getting up and going to work. So that's going to affect the amount of vitamin D that you're getting. So being able to, getting a good vitamin D supplement is another one that's going to be really good for, to help keep your immune system up as
and
well.
getting some more sunshine. I know it's really hot here where we are, like hot, but getting outside a little bit more is good too. And then vitamin A. So vitamin A is a fat soluble vitamin, so we don't want to overtake, but getting a good vitamin A supplement, a lot of times it is included in an immune supplement, or if you're taking a multivitamin or mineral, it may be enough depending on what else you're doing.
Okay.
And let's see, and so here's some things we can eat, like honey and garlic. So these are good immune boosters as well.
And if you're going to eat honey, even with, I know it's summertime, but if you can get a good local honey, as far as like if you're somebody that
We have
suffers
some
from
great
allergies
places.
and stuff like that, there's a lot of local beekeepers You want to find one that doesn't feed their, bees corn syrup, because that is a thing that I didn't even know that happened. But
I didn't even know
yes,
that.
but it is. So you want to, find, a good beekeeper, and you can get local honey, and that also will help to, expose your body in a different way to the different pollens and things that are out there, through that honey, and that has shown to be helpful as well. And then, garlic and keeping that gut by probiotics, keeping your gut health up, are also, really, really big with keeping your immune system where it needs to be. So your rest, your diet, drinking plenty of water, keeping it low stress, those things are, super important. Hand hygiene is super important. Actually melatonin has been shown also to really be helpful in dealing with COVID. So that's another one that you can take, and it helps with it's a whole process as far as like cytokine storms and different things like that I'm not gonna go into. Maybe Dr. Crystal will, but I'm not.
Maybe not today.
Okay.
But mainly what it's doing is helping with blunting a inflammatory effect that is negative,
Okay.
or just over inflammatory. So we're talking about how those cells communicate with each other, and how that can blunt that effect. So
Yes.
quercetin
We're
is
trying
one
to
of
keep
my
it,
favorites.
Trying to keep it light.
Yes.
Light and quick. But we
And
wanted
so if
to
you have
run
more
through some
question
things.
on some of them, we can definitely, and you can make an appointment with either one of us to
Yeah.
talk about this and give more of a tailored what should you do, because sometimes we're giving you as a blanket, but we're going to give you quite a few. You're like, oh my goodness, I have to take 15 different things to boost
No.
my immune system. No, it just depends on your lifestyle, depends on genetics, it depends on lots of things. And so if you visit with one of us, we can really get a good history and say, this is what you should probably be doing.
Yeah.
But quercetin is one of my favorite. It's like an antihistamine, and it's good for gut health. It's good for blunting that effect as well. I love quercetin. One of the products I use has quercetin stinging nettles. You know what I'm talking about, because we do them for allergy season, the Allergy HQ.
Oh yeah, that's my
It
favorite
is.
thing. That has been the one thing
But it also
that has worked for me.
And so what's really great is a lot of times when people come to us, they're wanting us to help with symptoms. Oh, I have all these symptoms. I'm having a runny nose and watery eyes and allergies, and I can't do this. And so whenever we're prescribing, even though it takes away the symptoms, like even though I'm telling you, hey, this is a good thing to take away the symptoms, what it's really doing is actually healing the gut and boosting the immune system on a functional level.
Right.
So it's not just taking like an allergy pill that's going to just take care of one part of the of the communication to the cells to tell it
Right.
to stop. So it has a very positive cumulative effect. But quercetin is great. Curcumin is another one. So this is something that you'll find in turmeric, right? So people say that. So it's anti-inflammatory, and it's going to. What's really cool, curcumin actually targets one of the specific enzymes for the virus that causes COVID. So it's very cool.
That's good stuff.
Yes.
I like. I have been giving my baby NAC, which is.
That's what I was getting ready to say.
Oh, okay. Well, you say that then. NAC is N-acetylcysteine.
N-acetylcysteine.
And it's
Yep.
great for respiratory health. And
It's
it's
great
another
for
one.
so many different
So
things.
many things, but since
It's a precursor to
You go.
glutathione.
yes, it is.
And that's why
You're so smart.
it's a precursor to glutathione that is involved. And I think of glutathione as like a super antioxidant that does so much for our health. And a lot of times you can extend that too, Cadence. And a lot of times whenever we have low glutathione levels, we're not as healthy. We can't fight off a lot of different things. So N-acetylcysteine is great. N-acetylcysteine is a building block of it. It's a lot less expensive, and our bodies can use it up really, really well. So did you
Yes.
say you were giving that to?
And most of the things that we are mentioning, again, you can get these things from us, but you also can get them from, your local specialty store, like what? I don't know.
Probably
Sprouts,
Sprouts,
Whole
Whole
Foods.
Foods, Natural Grocers.
Aiken's here, different places have different stores. Your local honestly, right now, I feel like we need to also support, our local health food stores, our local small businesses. And one here, Martha's Health Food in Broken Arrow, they carry a lot of these things. If you can find your local health food store, those types of places, they can you can get a lot of these supplements and some good quality ones from there as well. And I know you can get good local honey from them, because I just bought some good local honey.
There's some
from
good
Martha's.
places here in town, actually.
Yeah.
Tulsa has we're really fortunate to have a lot of access to a lot of these things.
Yes, and that is a new thing, because it didn't used to be that way when I first moved here. So in the past 10 years, we've really,
I was gonna say 10 years.
yeah, we've grown quite a bit.
Yes. So we have access to most anything. We're pretty, yeah. I like Tulsa, all right. And resveratrol is another one. So that's one that we found in the red wine. So now listen, we're not telling you to drink red wine.
What? I haven't heard about that one. Talk about that one. I
So
want to learn about this.
Resveratrol does so many different
Okay.
things, but again, it helps against viral replication. It just helps against keeping that virus in check. But it does so many other things. It's good for our cardiovascular health, so overall immune system.
Okay.
We're talking about supplements, though. We're not talking about drinking wine.
I know.
but
Well,
the darker the wine, though, the higher
In what?
resveratrol.
Resveratrol.
Yes.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
that is a big word. And no, we're not telling you to drink, because alcohol
Actually-
too much of it can lower your immune system.
Yes.
So we're not saying that.
I thought you were going to say we don't drink. We don't. Alcohol sometimes. Elderberry is another
Elderberry,
one.
yes.
So this is a great one. So elderberry is so great. They're one of my favorite, honestly, elderberry supplements. And I'll do a little plug. They're probably not even watching. Next Gen there's a local pharmacy here. They do their own powder, and I love. So I do a mix. So one of the things I do every day is I drink out of a 32-ounce stainless steel mug that's like cold, and I will put magnesium, I will put some good amino acids, and I will put elderberry powder and all this stuff, and I drink that at least once a day, and I will tell you, I can tell a difference in how I feel, but it's giving me these nutrients delivered in a way, and then I'm also getting hydrated as well. But elderberry is awesome. It is antiviral. It is great stuff, and you can get that through an elixir, through a syrup. There's a lady here that makes the whole syrup and puts turmeric and honey and something else in it. It's really good. Yeah.
But there's different
elderberry.
ways to, make, or prepare elderberry as well. So,
Yes.
different people will, have different ways, and say one way is better than others. And it's really, just, I feel like it depends on you. Some of it is boiled, some of it, is more, it's actually sitting and being extracted. So it just really depends on what access that you have, and your preference, or the powder, like Dr. Crystal was talking about, as well. So
Yes. So I think in general, we'll kind of sum it up, unless you have other things to
I'm
say. Is immune system. So we have the physical things we want to do, which is going to be wash your hands. Wearing a mask does help with the droplet transfer, right, of the respiration. But if you're going to wear a mask, please, when actually we are mandated right now in Tulsa to do it. But if you're going to wear a mask, but if you're going to wear, but a lot of the stores are requiring it. But please, if you're going to wear a mask, I mean, make sure you're wearing it appropriately. Make sure that, because there's no point in wearing one. If you're wearing it for protection,
so really it would be when you wear a mask, not if you're gonna, because pretty much
Correct.
if you go
When you
anywhere,
wear a mask.
you want to make sure that you're covering
Yes.
your nose and your mouth.
Yes.
A lot of times people are just, I see them and they'll just have their mouth covered, or just have their nose covered, or vice versa, or but it's really, if you're gonna wear it, you want to wear it right, and preferably be breathing through your nose, right,
Anyway.
with your mouth closed.
And I mean, even if, and so here's some things too that I know, like with COVID, because there's been several stories and for right now, most of them are anecdotal stories because I don't have proof all this happened exactly. But we're seeing a lot of people test positive for COVID that have symptoms and get the disease. So I mean, they're test positive for COVID-19 and then they're sick. Mm-hmm. Not hospitalized typically, but they're sick. And so then have the people around them that have to be quarantined and tested. And a lot of those people are tested, are not testing positive, which is great. But then you say, why? But one of the things is, even if you're in close proximity, I'm not going to sneeze in Montika's face. I'm not going to, there's certain things we're doing. I'm not going to. So even though we're in close proximity, yes, we could transfer it back and forth just from this. But we also want to take in parameters with the people that we live in our house. So let's not touch our nose and our face and then touch them. I mean, that's kind of gross anyway, mm-hmm. right? So just thinking about those types of things. So the physical aspect, we're talking about hand washing, hand sanitizer, mm-hmm. cleaning surfaces, mm-hmm. and then our physical of our lifestyle, which is getting enough sleep, mm-hmm. reducing our stress. And we talked about self-care, soul care, and all this stuff, but I will tell you, I cannot emphasize it. Anybody that talks to me on a regular basis, whether they're my patients or whether they're people, will hear it from me a lot. Did you get enough rest? Did you do these things? And if you didn't, and I mean, Montika has probably a story about that, about having to shift her rest, her sleep. I mean, it should be a priority.
Yes, it is, and I am definitely a work in progress. Like, I'm looking at myself right now.
We're all, it's Friday night,
but I mean, after working nights for 20 plus years, it's a lot. It takes a lot out of your body. So I mean, I know that everybody's lifestyle is different, and we all got to do what we got to do, and everybody has different types of jobs and different things like that, but yes, you have to do what you can with what you have. And so if you are working nights, when you are sleeping, try to get a good quality of sleep. Take some melatonin before you go to bed in the morning, you know what I mean, and get one of the nightshade masks, you know what I mean, to help you to stay asleep and cool your room off, and maybe get some blackout lights or whatever it is that you got to do, so that the quality of sleep that you get is actually, restful and restorative. And then, your diet, again, is super important to your gut health, and your gut health is your immune system. So we want to make sure that we're doing that, as well. And then in addition to those things, if you can get the supplements, and the supplements are really, really helpful as well. But food sources are still, if you can.
So you can't be taking all your vitamins and eating at McDonald's and eating at Taco Bueno all of the time. These, we really need to. I mean, it starts with, what are you doing most of the time to your body, what you're putting in it. And so taking a vitamin is not really going to. It's going to help.
Yeah.
Because there has been studies to show, if you eat, broccoli with, that piece of bread or that piece of cake, that the broccoli will actually blunt and help negate some of the negative effects of
but
the
it
junk
doesn't.
food.
It doesn't.
But it doesn't take it away.
No.
You're still, and vitamins aren't going to do that.
And
to
you
that
can't.
extent.
My husband says, you can't exercise away a bad diet.
You really can't.
So
you think you can when you're young.
Yeah, it doesn't work that way. You have to do both things.
And you can look really good on the outside exercising, and your insides aren't really great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you need to. You gotta do both things. So.
Really
we just wanted to come on, give you guys some different supplements that you can start with that are helpful. If you feel like you need a little help or anything like that, you can always give us a call, and we can come up with something specific for you. Of course,
rest. Do some more.
Rest, people.
And enjoy. I'm gonna say something. And we should have like a tagline: enjoy your life. Like have
fun.
Get
outside.
Get outside.
And outside is such a big deal. So speaking of outside, before we get off out of here, we will be having our yearly nonprofit event this year that we have during Breastfeeding Week, and what we have decided to do is to have it outside. So it's going to be super fun. We will be maintaining social distancing. We will also have masks and all of the things. We'll still have food, but we'll hand it to you. There will be no self-service, but we have, vendors that are going to come out. We got a live band that's coming. Charlie Red and Full Flavor Kings. We are also going to be.
So exciting.
Yes.
If you guys haven't heard them,
they are amazing. They are amazing. And we will be also live streaming. So for those of you that, join us from afar, I know Donnie was on. She's all the way in Florida. And so we just want, everybody to be able to participate this year.
So tell them what day it's on.
It's August 29th.
August 29th. It's going to be at?
It's at Foolish Things Coffee Company.
Yes,
which
and that's
is
downtown
in Tulsa.
It's a lovely company.
It's super
local
amazing.
Coffee, and their coffee is awesome, and their food is awesome. But they're also their community service and some of the things
they do a lot of work.
They're doing a lot
of good work. So so we'll be there, and we're gonna have online giveaways and things like that. I didn't even tell you that I talked to Leading Lady Bras. They are sending us 90 bras and tanks and things that are fun. So
we're giving away lots of stuff.
Yes, it's gonna be great. So we'll have some that'll be there to give away. We'll do some online, answer a question and send us your address type of stuff, and so it'll be great. And we're gonna celebrate and have some fun in the midst of all of this, because even with this, life goes on, and we still have to find space to enjoy ourselves and enjoy life and enjoy each other. Yeah, all those things. So we are gonna let you guys go for tonight. We love y'all. Thank you for tuning in.
Plan to be back next week.
And we plan, we'll be here.
We will be
with
here.
another topic, and talk to you guys soon. Everybody have a blessed weekend.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
And thank you.